Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to this Ansible first session. Okay, so in this session we will just learn what exactly Ansible is, why we are using it, what is the need of this in the industry, and how to use it that we will see later on. Okay, so basically Ansible is configuration management tool. What exactly configuration management means and what do we do in this case is nothing but, let's say, in your system or in your project you have a lot of virtual machines. Okay, definitely. So let's say this is the one virtual machine, this is second virtual machine. So likewise you can have 10 machines or 100 machines depending upon your project. Okay, and those virtual machines can be of any operating system. This operating system can be Red Hat, this can be, let's say, Ubuntu, then this can be, let's say, CentOS, this again can be Red Hat. So uh, there is no guarantee that all the virtual machines will be of same operating system, because each and every virtual machine have different purpose. So definitely in your project might be each virtual machine will be having different operating system. And if you want to do any configuration on top of that virtual machine, okay, you have one option, like you can write a shell script to do that. Let's say if you want to install the Git. Okay, Git is one of the, you can say, right now we haven't gone through that, but let's consider there is one package called Git for file management system. Okay, for versioning of that file. Okay, so if you want to install that Git over this all the four virtual machines, okay, so what you will do, if you don't know the Ansible, in that case that you will just write shell script like this. You will say apt install git hyphen one. This is what you will write. Okay, but the thing is, on top of the Red Hat, if you want to install any package, you need to use M as a package manager. Okay, this is the package manager. To install any package out of it means you have to do M install git hyphen y. Okay, if you want to do installation over the Ubuntu operating system, then over here as well, over here apt is the package manager. These are the default package manager defined by this operating system, that if you want to install anything, you always have to go ahead with make use of apt on top of Ubuntu. Okay, and CentOS also, I think, apt, and then this is the again M as a package manager. So what I meant to say over here, that only by writing apt install git hyphen y will not install git on all the virtual machines. Okay, if you just try to uh, execute this script on all these virtual machine, then definitely it will fail over here, because apt is not supported by the Red Hat. Only M as a package manager is supported. It is going to pass over here, let's say, and fail again over here. And let's say if you write uh, M install, let's say if you just comment this and if you write git hyphen y, then definitely it is going to pass over here but fail over here. Same goes for this, and it is going to pass over here. So this is not the correct output I want. I want my script to be 100% successful on all the virtual machine. Okay, so in that case I just need to know the operating system of this first before executing this command and this command. Okay, if the operating system of this machine is Red Hat, then I need to run this If operating system of this virtual machine is Ubuntu CentOS, then I need to run this. So somehow I just need to figure out first what is the operating system. Secondly, I need to write a if else condition, like if operating system is equal to Red Hat, then execute m install git-y. If operating system is equal to Ubuntu, then go ahead with apt install git-y. This is the one way of doing it. But there is one more problem over here, that uh, let's say git is already installed over here, okay, and on this three virtual machine there is no git. In that case, what is going to happen? We will try to reinstall the git, means because we are not checking whether git is already installed on the virtual machine or not. We are directly going ahead and installing it with the help of apt. In that case, uh, it will take some time to check whether git is already there or not. It means we are not within the script, we are not checking whether git is already there or not. So I think as a good script writer, we have to check first whether git is there or not. If git is already installed, then we don't have to go ahead and execute any command on top of this, right? So to check whether git is there or not, again we have to write some if else condition, get the value if it is git is installed or not. If it is true false, based on that we have to execute commands. So what I'm trying to say, it will add the complexity within the shell script. One more thing, let's say git is again, let's say, installed over here with version 1.0, and now I'm trying to install a git of version 2.0. In that case, what is going to happen here? I again need to write some extra thing within my shell script to uninstall this package and install it one more time with the required version. So each and everything we can do it via shell script definitely, but the problem over here is that we have to write a lengthy code to get the things done. Okay, we have to write lot of if else condition. We have to check whether the things are present or not. We have to check whether the versioning is correct or not. Then we have to check whether what operating system we are currently working on. So each and everything we have to mention within the shell script, then only things will be 100% successful. And for that matter, you need to be very good in the shell script. A beginner definitely will not be able to figure it out all these scenarios. So that's what I meant to say. So how things will, means, let's say at beginner level, if you want to do, then which all options you have to do. Let's say that beginner is facing some issue in understanding the shell script or writing the shell script, or he is not good in that. So he have definitely another option. That option is nothing but an Ansible. Okay, whatever this shell script is doing, each and everything can be, we can do it via Ansible in a standard way, in a properly managed way, and with very less line of code. Okay, let's say in the shell script you are writing 20 line of code just to achieve all this scenario. In case of Ansible, we can make it via 8 lines or 10 lines, not more than that. So Ansible is very easy to write the thing, easy to understand the things, and we don't have to write much if else block. Internally Ansible is intelligent enough to check all the things. Okay, so this is one of the example of usage of Ansible. It's not the only thing that Ansible is built for. It's one of the main thing that Ansible can do. Okay, means Ansible can work on multiple operating system, and it's very easy to write the code in Ansible to achieve this scenario. Okay, without writing even any if else block. Okay, once we will go into the practical, definitely we'll understand that why we are choosing Ansible over here to understand the configuration. So which all things comes under the configuration management tool? One is like installation of the package. Second is like upgrading the package to the latest version. Third is like uninstallation as well. Okay, and other things are, let's say, if you have some configuration file over here, okay, some index.html or config.xml, any configuration file over here, and you want to push this file to all these virtual machines, okay, you can do it via Ansible. Okay, so you can just copy this a file to all these machines via Ansible. Secondly, let's say there are certain log files over here on all these virtual machines, and if you want to pull all those log files for detailed analysis, okay, instead of, okay, so let's say a developer will say I need to check logs of all these virtual machines. So instead of providing him access to each and every virtual machines, what I will do, I'll just get all these log files to this Ansible server, and I'll provide those log files to the developer for analysis purpose. So like copying the file to this uh, all virtual machines and fetching the file from all virtual machines is also possible. Then next is like, let's say if you want to create a certain user, let's say admin user over here on all these virtual machines, you can create a user as well, like Unix user, I'm trying to say, like the way we have root as a Unix user, which is administrator users. Similarly, I can create a number of users with the help of Ansible very easily. So internally, Ansible will check whether that user already exists or not. If it exists, then it will skip that thing. If it doesn't exist, it will go ahead and create a user as well. Then other things are like, as of now, I can recall this. Other things are like, let's say if you want to shut down some virtual machines, you want to power it off, you can do it via Ansible as well. Okay, so the way we will proceed further in practical, you will get to know how we can do it, and it's very easy to go ahead and learn Ansible. Okay, the way Docker and Kubernetes was little bit complicated and have different understanding, because there was containers and all those things which was new for you guys. But in this case, you guys are already working with virtual machines, and we are dealing 100% with virtual machine over here. Okay, we are not considering any containerization, anything like that. So that's where it's very easy to learn, and it's straightforward to understand Ansible. So that's what I'm trying to say. It is a configuration management tool. So instead of writing a big shell script and complicated one, just write a simple Ansible code and get these things done. Now let's understand how Ansible works, means architecture of Ansible and which all things are there within the Ansible. Okay, so let's say this is my node 1, let's say 01, let's say this is 02, this is 03, and this is 04. Okay, these are the four nodes or four hosts I have. So we want to manage all these node server. Okay, so definitely we will need some manager who is going to manage all these four servers or four virtual machines. That manager is nothing but an Ansible server. Okay, so let's say this is the controller. In case of the Ansible, we call a server who is going to manage other nodes as a controller. So this is the controller on top of which we are going to install Ansible tool over here. So right now in our system there are 5 virtual machines, one virtual machine on top of which we are installing the Ansible tool, and the server on top of which we are installing Ansible tool, we call it as a controller, because this is going to control all the configuration of the nodes. And the server on top of which we want to do some configuration management thing, like creating user, copying file, fetching the files, creating the files directory, removing those files directory, changing the permission of directory, anything that we can do within the shell script, we can simply achieve with the help of Ansible, irrespective of any operating system. Okay, So these are the node server, and these node servers are mainly to be managed. Okay, and who is going to manage it? Controller is going to manage it. So how controller will come to know like which all server it has to manage? Maybe there are hundreds of servers in the project, but out of that 100 we want to manage only 10 servers. Okay, so how controller will come to know? By looking into one of the file. That file is nothing but an inventory file. Okay, let me write it down. So there is one more file that I will be writing within this controller server. So that is nothing but an inventory file over within this, and this file name it is a text file. Okay, we just call this as an inventory file within the language of Ansible, and this inventory file will have information about the managed nodes, like which all servers we need to manage. Like we are interested in managing the node 01, node 02, node 03. So every time I'm writing any Ansible, or every time I'm executing any Ansible commands, so those commands will be executed on these servers automatically, because I have defined it under the inventory. So जो भी server के details I'm keeping in the inventory file, my Ansible configure means my controller will manage those nodes. How it is going to do it? Let's say my goal is to create a Unix user with the name, with the username as admin. Okay, so for that matter, Ansible will log into this node server via SSH. Okay, internally, this is the internal configuration I'm trying to say. You will not see these settings. Okay, it will log in to this server via SSH secure shell, and it will execute that command over here. Same, it is going to log into the second node, third node, fourth node. Okay, one more benefit of doing this, let's say to execute execute that command on this node 1, it takes, let's say, a 1 minute. Okay, if you want to do it via shell script, then what is going to happen? You will write some for loop and add all these nodes within that for loop, and execute that command one by one over the each and every worker, each and every node. So if we are having 4 nodes over here, then total there will be, with the shell script, we will require almost 4 minutes. Okay, to do this activity with the shell script. But if you want to do it with the help of Ansible, it will take just 1 minute, because this script, or this command that we are trying to execute, this is going to get executed on all the node servers in parallel. That is the major benefit of making use of the Ansible. Okay, so it's like doing things at a time. It's not like it will do it on the first node, once completed second, once completed third. Not like that, the way it works in the shell script. Okay, Ansible have some intelligence, and based on that, it is going to execute the same command on all the worker node in parallel. So that's why if node 01 is taking 1 minute, definitely other nodes will also take the similar time. And that's where, if we have hundreds of server as well, definitely things will get completed only in 1 minute. But in case of shell script, things will get completed in 100 minutes. So it is kind of a time saving as well over here. Okay, and in real project, we will be having definitely more than 15 to 20 servers, on top of which we need to manage this. So right now, this is the only configuration which we need to understand. Once we will get into uh, learning or practicality of that Ansible, you will understand how to set up all those things, and how to install Ansible, and how to create all these nodes. But before going over there, I just wanted to know, you guys understood what exactly Ansible is on superficial level. Then what we will do, we will just go ahead and set up these things so that we can do the practicals. So just go to your DigitalOcean, okay, and create some droplets. This is nothing but a virtual machine. You can see like I have this 20 days available, so I'll just make use of it 100%. And this creation of these virtual machines will be free for me because I'm still under the 2 month uh, period. Okay, and over here this I'm choosing the Bangalore region, and for now I'll just make use of the Ubuntu as operating system. Later I'll choose one as a Red Hat as well, just for, but for understanding purpose let's go ahead with Ubuntu right now. Then keep it rest of the thing as it is, and let's make use of the regular CPU. Within that you can say 2 GB RAM, 1 CPU. This is the hardware configuration I can make use of. Like I can go ahead and use this as well, 1 GB 1 CPU, it will also work, but as I'm having some free credits, so I want to make use of little bit bigger one. And we want to set some password, so I'll just gonna write password over here and I'll set that password. It's up to you, you can keep any password over here, it should match with some the constraint which is provided by that. What constraint I meant to say, let's say it must be of 8 characters, these are the constraints. Okay. um, then must contain one uppercase, must contain one number, and cannot end with special character, and cannot be the first, I mean the uppercase letter cannot be the first or last. So all these things we just need to take care of. That's where I have choose this password, which is fulfilling all the requirement, and it is going to create one virtual machine. But I need three droplets. One will act as a controller and others will act as a node. So let's say I'll name it in that way, node 01, node 02. I'm creating one controller droplet and true and two node droplet. I mean, these are the host name I'm trying to provide so that our understanding will be very much easy. So let's create this. So it will take almost 30 seconds to get it done. And once we are done with this creation, then we will go ahead and log into this each and every virtual machine with the help of IP address. Okay, so we will be logging over here on the controller. Then this is for the node 01, this is for the node 02. Okay, so let's wait for a moment till it gets completed successfully. Okay, node 2 got completed, node controller also got completed, and the node 01. So meanwhile I'll just log into the controller, ssh root. Okay, let's wait for a moment. Public, okay, it's still setting it up. Permission denied. It is asking for the password. It takes some time to set up. Okay, so once it is asking for a password, copy paste this password and you are into the controller server. Okay, then over here let's make use of ssh root, ssh root at the rate. What is the node 01 IP address? This is the IP address. Copy paste it and log into this as well. What happened? Reattach ssh root at the rate, the third one. Let's copy this, paste it, and I think password is required, so let's go ahead and copy paste that password one more time. Password will remain same for all the server as I have set it up like that way. Okay, now you can see I logged into this root at the rate controller over here. Second is like root at the rate node 01. Third is like root at the rate node 02. So I am successfully logged into my all the virtual machines. And as you know, only thing I just need to install the means on top of this I need to install the Ansible. And on the node servers we don't need anything. Okay, we don't need to worry about any installation. There is only one requirement, that Python should be installed on each and every worker, each and every controller and work and this node server as well. But this whenever you are going to create any droplet or virtual machine via DigitalOcean, Python will come by default. So that's where you don't need to worry about installing it. But you just need to know that Python is a prerequisite for executing any Ansible commands. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's update the repository over the controller and then go ahead and install the Ansible on top of this. Okay. And let's check Ansible is there or not. You can see Ansible is not installed by default on any of the server. So let's go ahead and install it. Apt install Ansible. Okay, with this simple apt install command, uh, Ansible will get installed on top of this server. Okay, and some, I mean to say, documentation is also provided over here. The same repository. Just go to the Ansible, and if you are installing it over the Ubuntu server, the way I have created Ubuntu, so this command is going to work. And if you're making it over the Red Hat server, then this command is going to work. But start with Ubuntu only because it's very easy to understand. Okay, once we are done with installation, just check the version of the Ansible that we have installed. This is how it shows that it got completed successfully. And if you see Ansible hyphen hyphen version, now Ansible got installed with this latest version, and it requires some Python things, so definitely it uses it. Where is that? Okay, so Ansible Python module, so Python is installed. This is the default Python location. Whenever you are going to create virtual machine, you will see Python location, this one only, so you don't need to worry about Python because it's already installed. So with simple apt install Ansible -y, we have installed the Ansible over here. Okay. Now we are not going to execute any command with root user, because means any Ansible command with root user, because root is very super power user and it can be a destructive, it can be a constructive as well. So what we will do, we will just create a user and we will play with means we are going to execute all our Ansible commands with that user only. Okay, so I'll just say it as a ans admin user. Okay, let's add this user ans admin. This user can be anything for you. Okay, it's not like I'm using the ans admin, so you have to use the same. Just it's just like that I don't want to use the super power or like a super user over here. That's where I'm creating a normal user and will make use of this user while executing the Ansible command. So let's create the user on all the virtual machines. Once this is completed, then like this is a normal user. Okay, if you want, this is not a, I mean to say, this user is not having a root privileges by default. I mean to say, let's say if you log into ans admin and if you go to etc, okay, you know that etc is owned by root directory. Okay, you can say this etc is a file system which is owned by the root, and if you go to etc and try to create any file, you will not have any permission to do that, because this ans admin user is a normal user which is not having any uh, permissions to create any file within this, means this is not acting as a root user. Okay, so if you say sudo to that, means if you want to execute this touch a with root permission, sudo is nothing but escalating the privileges. Okay, and considering this command is getting executed by a root user, so if this ans admin user have a root privileges, definitely this will work. But right now, uh, if I provide the password this, let me set the password first. Passwd is a command to set the password for any user. I'll say the same password, log into ans admin and try to go ahead. You can see ans admin is not in the sudo file. So what does that mean? That this user is not allowed to run anything via sudo because it's not there within the sudo file. So I want to provide the root privileges to this ans admin user. For that matter, there is some config in this Ansible section. Definitely you will learn a lot of Linux concepts as well. There is some file over here, etc sudoers. This file is owned by the root, so that's why I'm trying to modify that file via root user only. And this file is to provide the sudo permission to the users. Let's open this file. Let's look into this user privileges specification. As of now, root user is having all the privileges. That's why root user can do anything. I want ans admin user to get some permissions. Okay, so this is I'm going to write over here. Okay, ans admin, and this is the syntax of how it works. And no password is like when this ans admin will try to execute any sudo command. In that case, let's not ask for any password the way it was asking for the password over here. You can see it asked me for the password while executing the sudo command. So this password should not be prompted while executing any sudo command via ans admin user. So that's why I have added that line, etc sudoers pipe grape, what we have added ans admin. This is the line which we have added just now within that, so that my ans admin user will have all the permissions, and it will whenever I'm going to write sudo command with ans admin user, it should not ask any password. Let's do it in practical whether it is really working or not the way we have uh, configured. Now you can see with simply touch a, it's not working. If you add sudo, it's 100% working now. And you can see this sudo is nothing but escalating the permissions and making it as a root user. So that's why even though file is created by ans admin user, but as we are using the sudo over here, it has created by a root as a user, root as a group. So this is the concept of making a user as a privileged user with the help of sudoers file. Let's do the same configuration in other servers as well. etc sudoers. Let's add the same line in over here as well. Same goes with this. This is the one-time setup that you have to do. Once you are done with entire setup, then on daily basis we will not be doing this setup. Okay, so now we have created a user, we have created ansadmin, sorry, we have created ansadmin user, we have provided it uh, the permissions to execute a sudo command as well. Now let's log into ansadmin everywhere. Ansadmin at rate controller, ansadmin at rate node 01, ansadmin at rate node 02. Now, as I told you in the section of this architecture, that controller will do the SSH to the node 01, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then execute the commands. So if I try to log into this node 01, let's say, as of now this node 01 is not getting resolved by this controller. So not an issue, let's add it under the etc host. So this is the file configuration, this is the Unix related file which in which we can write the IP address and the host name of that server, so that uh, resolution will happen. Okay, so what is the IP address of this node 01? Let's add it over here. Where is that? Node 01 IP address is this. This is the node 01. What is the IP address of the node 02? Node 02. Okay, so if we add this under the etc host, then the host name based resolution will work. Okay, let's try to do SSH now. If I do SSH like this, and then it is going to work via ansadmin user only. You can see it is asking me for the password, so it is taking user as an ansadmin because I'm trying to SSH with ansadmin user over here. You can see, even though if I don't provide any username at over here, then it will pick the username of the control server. So I don't have means I do have a password over here, but as you know that we are into the automation kind of things. So if I execute any command from the controller machine to this node, it will prompt me for the password, and I don't want to provide the password every time. Okay, uh, the command should execute smoothly without asking me for the password. So that's where you have to go ahead and make use of the passwordless SSH thing. Any idea how to do the passwordless connection from controller to the node? So over here, as we understood that there is a requirement of doing the passwordless connectivity, and definitely this can be done via some public key and private key. Okay, so we have to share the public key of the controller with the node servers. Okay, and we have to add that public key in the authorized underscore key file. So once you do that setup, then uh, you will have the passwordless connectivity. So let's do that in practical. Okay, now I'm into the controller one, and if you want to generate a public key and private key, for that matter, SSH keygen is the command. This is nothing but generate the SSH key. Okay, the SSH key, this is the public, sorry, this is the private key that will get added under .ssh. So I am okay with this location. Hit enter, hit one more enter. So just hit 3 times enter, and that's all. So similarly, let's generate it for other servers as well. And similarly for this as well. Okay, we have executed this command now on all these. Now let's go to this location .ssh. you will see the public dot pub is nothing but a public key, and this is the private key. If you just open this thing, you will get to see some random abcd, and this is the private key. This is the main thing. It's not ending with anything, so it is a private key. It's ending with .pub, so it is a public key. We need to share the public key with other nodes, and then passwordless connectivity will happen. So let's copy paste that in the .ssh over here as well, and let's add this content within authorized underscore key. The file name must be this only, authorized underscore keys. Okay, if you create, what I have done, I have just created a file with the name authorized underscore key and added this content within that file. Let's do the same thing for node 2 as well. Okay, so now we are done with this passwordless setup. It's so simple. Now if you do node 01, you can see I logged into this ANSadmin node 01 without asking me for any password. If I try to log into node 02, okay, I have logged into the node 02 as well without asking for any password. So this is the passwordless connectivity that we have to do. First step is to generate the public and private key. Second is to share that with node servers. So we are done with this as well. Like passwordless connectivity is completed from controller to the node servers. Okay, understood this much? Now we are done with most of the things that we are trying to do. Next thing is, like, let's create any demo directory, any directory. I'll make it as a name as a demo, and if I run Ansible over here, you can see Ansible is the binary file which is working fine from every location. And if you see Ansible hyphen version over here, config file is none. Okay, within this Ansible there is some configuration file as well which I haven't talked about or till now, so I was just waiting for that moment. So there is one ansible.cfg file, that is nothing but Ansible configuration file. What does that Ansible configuration file do? It will, okay, let me tell you one thing over here. Let's say there are 100 servers, 100 node servers, okay, and this Ansible controller want to create a user on all the 100 servers, but not in parallel, in a batch of 5 server at a time. Okay, or let's say 4 server at a time. So this 4 server on top of this, so what this ansible.cfg is responsible for, it is how Ansible commands will get executed. Means I want this is my requirement that Ansible should execute the commands for server at a time. So that configuration that can be defined within this config file. Okay, this is the one configuration I'm trying to say. But there are many different configurations. So cfg file is mainly responsible for how my Ansible command will get executed. Okay, second is like this, within this config file, where is my inventory location? Means this inventory file is having all the information about the nodes, right? But where is that inventory file kept on my server? So that information is also I have to provide within the cfg file. So once we will create it, you will understand it definitely. So this is the main fundamental of this config file, and we will explore it more once we will go into the practical. As of now, there is no config file present over here. So let's go ahead and create one file, ansible.cfg. File name must be this only. You cannot keep any other name. So let's create a blank file with the same name. And now if you try to execute Ansible version, you will get to see the config file location correctly. Okay. Now this config file you just created under the demo folder, which is mentioned over here. The thing is, if you execute this Ansible version, Ansible command from demo folder, demo directory, and within the demo directory you have ansible.cfg, so that's where it is able to pick it up. It means if you are running, so that's what I'm trying to say, you have to execute the Ansible command from that directory only, otherwise it will not work. Let's say if I execute this Ansible version from any other directories, so you can see config file is equal to none because it is not able to find the config file on this similar directory. Okay, so it's always important to execute that file, sorry, execute the Ansible commands from the location, sorry, from the location where this config file is present. That's where it was not working fine from the root location or home directory, and it is working fine from the demo directory, and this config file is very much important for our execution of the Ansible commands. If you delete this file from this location, let's say, then again like config file will be blank. You can see there is no config file. So let's create it one again, and to run this config, to run this Ansible commands, we will be needing this file definitely. Okay, now what should be the content of this file? Okay, this is just a blank file I have created, but what should be the content of that file? So sample config file I have provided to you, and we will make use of that config file step by step. So within this playbook section over here, ansible.cfg, and simply just copy paste this first few lines and just have this. Okay, these are the default settings that we are providing. And where is my inventory file? Okay, let's say my inventory file, means inventory file is nothing but where the node server information is present. So this is my, so what I will do, I'll keep my inventory file at the same location. That's where I'm providing inventory is equal to, this is the file in which node information is present. So let me create this file in which I have node 01 to manage and I have node 02 to manage. So these are the two nodes to which I need to manage. So Ansible CFG के अंदर मैंने लिखा है कि इन्वेंट्री फाइल की लोकेशन क्या है. So this is the inventory file location in which I have added these two node details, so that my controller will know that these are the two nodes to which I need to execute my Ansible commands. I think this is much about today's section because we have seen a lot of things to understand this, and rest practical definitely we can do it from tomorrow, but this was the very basic to understand, and Ansible commands and all those things we will see definitely tomorrow. Till now we have just saw what exactly Ansible is, architecture of the Ansible, and how to create three virtual machines, one as a controller, two as a node server, and on top of the controller how to install Ansible. Then once you are done with Ansible, then this setup related things. And once you are done with the setup related things, then what is the purpose of config file? 100% purpose you will get to know definitely once we will be into the practical, because it's all about practical. 90% about practical, 10% about theoretical knowledge. So things will come, or the confidence will come with practical things. Okay. Okay, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.